Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Time Pass. I have with me Radhika Apte. Finally, Radhika, we get to see you during the lockdown. We have been suffering from major withdrawal symptoms. Not seeing you in all our streaming videos and all our streaming series. It's left a huge gap in our lives. Where have you been, Radhika?
I don't know. Am I in that many streaming things? No. I've just been in London the whole time, and it's been really nice to be away from everything. Actually,
Yeah, I think you'd really worked hard in the last couple of years. I think you were in possibly every movie that made, a difference, from Padman to Andhadhun to, to every streaming thing on Netflix, the OTT queen, so to speak. So you took a conscious break, right?
no.
No?
I mean, we all have taken a break. It's not really conscious. So no, this lockdown happened, and I had to come to England for some reasons anyway. So I came. I thought I'll stay for a few days, and then I've just been here since then.
How has it been for you?
I mean, to be honest, it's strange because the world is really going through terrible things.
Yeah.
And I mean, economically is one thing, but people just, I mean, I think the people who are um, suffering the consequences, which are the byproduct of all this, is just enormous. And I think population is such a massive issue in our country, and it's just terrible. But to tell you very honestly, in my personal life, it's been fine. It's been great. I have absolutely nothing to complain about. It is actually really good to get a break because I've been working around the clock since uh, 8 years, and I've not taken a break like this, and it sort of forces you to think about things that you've been avoiding to think about. It forces you to, it just makes you, it's so much time at your disposal that, to understand what are your priorities, and do you really like your work? What do you want to do? Do you really want to pursue this? Where do you want to live? Um, and for the first time, the first beginning of the lockdown, I experienced this thing of not having FOMO of anything, because you don't have to be anywhere and you can actually do what you want to do. On the contrary, because people having a problem with we can't do anything we want to do, but I was like, actually, I felt like I could do, like I wanted to do nothing. I could do nothing and not worry about, oh, if I don't go for this award ceremony, then
Right.
it was gonna be like, oh my God, it was so great.
Or you don't wear this dress advised by this stylist, and you're going to be boycotted or whatever.
I'm wearing this lipstick. I haven't even washed my hair. It's horribly dirty. I haven't worn makeup. And so today I found out that, oh, I have to suddenly go live like 5 minutes ago. So I wore lipstick after 2.5 months. It's so nice. I mean, it's really stupid. I mean, I know it's stupid compared to what's going on in the world, but still it is my life and these are things happening. So
But you've been writing, or you've been watching your own stuff, seeing how what your craft was, how you can improve it, or have you been doing your own writing? What have you been doing in that sense?
I've been doing a lot of writing.
Right.
Um, and I
Just
don't
so
know.
that people who don't know, you wrote the episode of Lust Stories.
I didn't like that episode
You
actually.
did too, according to Anurag Kashyap, you did.
Anurag says anything. I didn't write it at all. It's not. I haven't written a word of it. Um, actually, no. I wrote a short film and I directed it
Oh,
last year. And we just got into the Palm Springs Film International Festival. So
congratulations.
thanks. And so I'm trying to develop that further, and um, I'm also writing. I've written some other things. I'm writing in the process of writing some other things. I don't know if anything will get made, or whether I would even want to make it once it's finished. You'll know, right? If it's even worth making. For sometimes you lose interest. Sometimes you just can't finish it. Sometimes you think it's shit anyway. Sometimes you like it. You want to make it. So I've not reached that stage yet. But I've been wanting to write for the last 3-4 years, and finally I've got the time. So I'm really enjoying it, writing. Actually, never done it before, so it's first time.
Have you been watching some of your old work?
No, I don't watch my own work.
You don't? But last year was quite productive for you in terms of the work you did internationally. I just saw the wedding guest, which I loved. I
Oh,
think working with Michael Winterbottom must be fantastic. I can't even imagine. And then Dev Patel. And then, of course, you played a Pakistani, which was an interesting angle. I wanted you to talk a little about that. Then we'll go on to talk about Liberté and the ashram as well. Because again, Liberté is quite fantastic. To play Noor Inayat Khan is, I think, one of those things that is a dream, isn't it?
I mean, I'll talk about all three briefly.
Please do.
Ashram, I don't know what to talk about Ashram. It's really old.
Right.
I shot for Ashram 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. But it was released last year
Oh
for
yeah,
some reason.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And I also have a very small part in Ashram.
Hmm.
Very small part.
Yeah.
It's Melissa
It's
Leo.
not like wedding guest.
No.
Yeah.
I've literally a tiny part in Ashram.
Right.
Even Liberté, I think the best part about Liberté was actually to work with Lydia.
Yeah.
Adore her, the director of the film.
Right.
She's an excellent human being. And also to know more about Noor Inayat Khan and do research, and that was really good. But again, the film is predominantly mainly about this one American journalist,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, Lydia and I always struggled with, like, we had so much information and so much to tell about Noor, and
Right.
then so. But it's a really lovely film, and um, it was quite enriching that way. Wedding Guest, again, all of these are shot like two years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wedding Guest was very different because I've never worked with anybody like Michael. Like, the best part about Michael's shoot was that we had a smallest crew and we were constantly traveling, constantly on the road, and he's constantly rolling the camera,
Right.
constantly.
Yeah.
So you're always, whatever you do is captured, and he doesn't say much, doesn't tell you much, and
Right.
uh, you know, I really like him. I really, really like him, and I really enjoyed working with him and Dave.
Yeah.
I personally really like Wedding Guest.
Yeah. So does
Uh, yeah, a lot of people like had very mixed reviews, feelings about it, but I personally really like it. Um, I feel it's about this girl in it is very brave. Um, yeah,
and it's so liberating. I mean, without giving too much away, but that last scene when you're just on your your moped or mobike or whatever, just going off, it's just so wonderful. It's that feeling of just escaping and just not running away but freedom.
hmm
It's is that what attracted you to it, apart from, of course, I think working with a great ensemble, great set of people?
predominant. Of course, it was Michael, and but also, as I said, the character. I think it's a very brave character, and to be free and to fight for your freedom, you need
Right.
great courage, I feel.
In a sense, Noor is a lot like that because she's also fighting uh, for freedom, at a very difficult time, and
Yeah,
part of a sort of sisterhood.
yeah.
Did you get a sense of that? Because it looked quite accurate in terms of historical details and all that. And I think Stana Katic is, again, quite an amazing
Yeah,
collaborator, isn't she?
yeah, absolutely.
We all know her from Castle, of course, but there's
Yeah,
more to her than that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. She was great, actually. She's so much fun as well. Um, yeah, Noor. I mean, Noor Inayat Khan is an incredible character, but very different from the one in Wedding Guest. I mean, I think Noor was very sorted
Yeah,
in the sense that she was a pacifist, and I mean, it's just such massive contradictions. Like, you're a pacifist, you're actually part of the war, and you're in, like, actively involved, and still she had her principles very, very clear.
right.
So yeah,
Is there a longer film that you would like to do? We'd love to see more of Noor, isn't it? I mean, she
yeah,
lends herself to a fantastic series or, maybe a movie. I don't
yeah. I mean, I don't have the rights, so I don't know. I don't think so much about things that are not in my control. If they make it great. If they don't, I don't know.
You want to talk a little about the short film you've written?
Not really at the moment
Are you
because
in it?
no, I'm not in it.
No?
No, of course not. No. I have two wonderful actors and a beautiful, beautiful little girl. I have Shahana Goswami in it and
Oh,
Gulshan Devaya. I
wow.
think they're both incredible.
Right.
And there's a little girl called Dipali. I'm going to post about it today
Wonderful.
because we just found out, and yeah, we can make it official. So yeah, I don't know what will happen with it yet, so just don't want to talk about it much. But yeah.
Radhika, when you look at the work that's coming out of London, England, when I see some of the series there, it's become so diverse now. That old idea of the stereotypical Indians, a lot of that has changed. And even in America, you have people like Mindy Kaling who are really pushing boundaries. And whether you criticize it or not, I thought Never Have I Ever was a great attempt at actually showing what Indian American lives are about. Do you see a more diverse world where people like you can actually work anywhere? It doesn't matter.
Um, it's not very it's not very great yet, I don't think, in the sense that yes, you have people doing it, and I mean, my God, thank God for them.
Yeah,
But I was just talking to, but I say this all the time, like apart from Yesterday, which is a Danny Boyle film,
right.
where the protagonist is Indian, British,
Yeah,
British Indian,
yeah,
and there's no reason for him to be British Indian.
exactly.
I mean, it could be anybody.
Right.
Um, we don't have such parts. I mean, when there's an Indian, British Indian or American Indian or whatever Asian caste, there's a reason why. Um, so that needs to change. And we talk about one example sometimes,
Hmm.
so it's still like needs to change. Um, I do want to do more work which doesn't belong to any particular place, or
Right.
just like doesn't really get categorized into, oh, this is Indian or this is
Yeah.
British, or
Right.
so I do want to do that. I do. I'm really fighting for that, so let's see if I
Is
can do
that a
it.
struggle if you do that in London? Is it easier if you go to New York or LA? But then, of course, you have to be there for a while, don't you?
No, I think I've trust me, I've auditioned for years. I have been here. I've been to America. I've done all the meetings. I get really big auditions.
Yeah.
It doesn't work yet. I mean, at least now, at least they're auditioning people who are of different skin color and different accents. Earlier, they didn't audition. Like, so at least they audition now, and things are changing. Definitely, like 100%, they're changing. But I don't know. I'm a bit tired of just auditioning and waiting for them to cast me. So I'm trying to see if I can be a part of making things also
Yeah. Yeah.
on in some way or another, whatever the capacity is.
Right.
Let's see. I mean, these are just thoughts, These are just coronavirus lockdown thoughts.
They're very useful thoughts.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
but
yeah. I think so.
but what is the reaction that you get when when you're auditioning? Do they still expect a certain kind of physicality, a certain kind of skin tone,
No,
accent? No.
the casting directors are very sensitive. You
Right.
see, the thing is that people here in this industry have become very sensitive. Whether they
Yeah.
cast you or not, they become very sensitive to this diversity and ethnicity
Right.
and all of this. So they really appreciate that you have a
Right.
different accent and different skin color.
So it's you don't face any racism there. I guess it comes later.
It's not racism. It's also like numbers. I mean, why do you cast a huge star who can't act in
Hmm.
Bollywood films?
Hmm.
Because of numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
it's also about what is going to sell and what works, right?
Let's go a little back to Bollywood now and talk about numbers there. Your movies also, started showing the numbers. Did it change the perception people had of you as being a very art house, indie kind of actor to more commercially viable?
I don't know. Yes and no, because I still get rejected for projects that I really want to do, because I'm not commercial enough. And
Is commercial enough for them?
whose name can get numbers,
Right.
who has history of good box office. Um, so I don't have that.
Batman and Andhadhun doesn't
It
count.
was me, no?
Oh, okay.
So I still get rejected. Having said that, I have lately gotten offers for some like a bit of like a rom-com from a big production house and this and that, but I'm not doing any of that. So
No?
no.
Why is that?
Didn't like it.
What about working in other industries? How has that experience been? Kabali, working with a huge star like Rajni.
It was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
But I haven't worked in another industry for a while, but
Yeah.
I mean, working with Rajni is like a great experience, like working with a legend. So
Yeah.
it was really amazing. Um, I mean, he's so down to earth and he's a true artist. I mean, he has no qualms of being a star, and yeah, he's just so dedicated and disciplined and so kind, generous. Um, and he has his own school of acting.
Yeah.
So
Did you
great.
learn anything from him?
No, I don't think I'm ever capable of doing what he does. I completely a failure. I wouldn't attempt. I'm like, I can't do it. I know I can't.
But you've also worked with actors like Fahad Fasil, who's so good and so
He's so great.
and not so well known. But again, what a fantastic actor, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Actually, I've been meaning to contact him. I do want to. He's doing such great work.
Amazing work. Yeah.
So I like, I'd love to see if we can collaborate again. But yeah, I don't know. But he's great. Yeah.
So, is there a lot more interesting work happening in Malayalam, in Tamil that you really look out for? Are there directors or actors whose work you follow?
I mean, no, I don't actually. But you hear about great films and then I watch them anyway. Every industry has a wave. Like Marathi
Marathi, yeah.
had a thing, but now it's not again gone down a bit, and now
Right.
Malayalam industry is suddenly
Yeah.
uh, spoken about, and but I mean, of course, regional industries have already always been, um, in the Hindi industry is so huge, and there's so much at stake all the time, and people are taking lesser risks. That's the problem. The bigger you
Yeah.
get, you take the lesser
Yeah.
risks you take. The smaller you are, the more risks you take. That's the problem. Whereas in Bollywood, I think people have the money to fail. It's okay to fail, and actually they have the capacity to change things, I think. But I'm not a producer, so it's easy for me to say.
But you want to create things, do you want to create them in a specific geography, or it doesn't really matter, does it?
Don't know. Just thinking about it still.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? I've been watching, just now I'm watching I Know This Much Is True.
Oh, it's very depressing.
Very intense.
So
I
depressing.
auditioned for it. They flew me to
Really?
New York. Yeah.
For which part? The wife?
No, for Archie Punjabi's part.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
but shit, should I be talking about it like this? It's
Of
okay.
course you should. It's fine.
Yeah. I got rejected. I mean, that's fine. I can talk about it. But
Suddenly she's everywhere again. She was in Run as well. Did you see Run? Phoebe Walter
no, I
Bridge.
haven't seen it. I'm gonna watch it. I
Oh,
really
you
want.
must watch it. It's so funny as usual because it has
Yeah.
her, and she's in it in a big part as well. When you see it, you'll realize she's so funny. But again, she's in it again. So suddenly she's sort of on a, in a
That's
way,
great.
yeah,
That's really great. But she got the part, obviously, and I didn't. So I met Derek Cianfrance, and he was so lovely.
right.
We had a really long meeting. It was really great. So, and I'm a big Mark Ruffalo fan.
Oh
So
yeah, who isn't?
he's so nice.
Yeah,
He's so
and
good
then
at the
and there are
series.
two of them here. I
He's
mean,
so excellent. And
yeah,
Derek's work is so good. Oh my God,
yeah,
his series is really good. It's
yeah.
great. So that I have to watch the fourth episode today.
Okay, but it is so depressing. I've just seen the fourth episode. It takes a lot out of you just watching it. What else have you been watching? Did you see Defending Jacob?
No.
It has Chris Evans and Michelle Dockery. You must watch it. Again, a little depressing. I'm sorry.
Defending.
We're only talking about depressing stuff.
Uh,
But
no,
is
I've
it
actually been avoiding watching depressing stuff. That's why I've not even seen Patal Lok.
okay?
Uh, because I
No,
just
that's actually not depressing. It's liberating. It's very funny.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's very
What's the
funny
content?
and very funny because Jaideep's character has a weird sense of humor as well, you know?
It's still violence, no? It's still
Yeah,
those,
it is.
this one's killing and chasing, and then there's anxiety. I don't want to do that right now. I'm not in that mood. I watched Schitt's Creek. I absolutely
Oh,
adore.
it's lovely.
I watched it all over again. So I watched it twice. Then I've been watching films actually.
Right?
I'm not I realized I was taking too much pressure of like, oh my god, we've given time now, you have to watch something every day.
Right.
And
And
I
educate yourself and see
yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening.
So I'm not doing that. So I watched like a film in 3 days, you know. Uh like I just yeah. There's too much content. I can't do it.
Have you been reading?
I read a lot actually in the beginning, and then I just stopped. At the moment, I'm not reading anything. I've just ordered a couple of books for research though, which for what I'm writing. But apart, I'm reading for what my research is. So
Right.
I spend time reading books and lots of things online, and but after that, I don't feel like reading more, and I watch something really time pass and go to sleep.
What's it like living in London right now? A very different London from what you're used to. Is it more anxious? Is it less walkable? No? Is it okay?
Parks are full.
Yeah?
Everybody's holidaying, everybody's
Yeah.
partying and picnicking, and it's fine. It's great.
There's no such thing as social distancing.
I mean, there is people try to maintain 2 meters when they're walking and all, but in the parks, I don't know. Of course, there is. Like, everybody's like, yeah. And now you're not even allowed to meet people in the park and picnic.
Okay, so things are sort of back to normal almost. But
Not really. You can't take the train. I mean, you can take the trains. People are going to work. Uh,
right.
I had to take a train and bus and everything last week, but I've also been cycling and
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Through the city.
Yeah. I've been cycling, but good. I wanted to cycle in London. I didn't, just lazy, and now I'm finally got a cycle. Yeah.
Have you been in touch? Of course, you've been in touch with your family in Pune, but what are things like there? Your parents are doctors, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they part of the whole coronavirus?
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of patients in our hospital at the moment.
Right.
So, so they are a part of it.
So,
Yeah.
do you hear of that anxiety?
They are not anxious in the least, no.
No, they produced you. They can't afford to be anxious.
They're just never anxious about these things. I don't know. They never are.
So, what is it that you want to do once the lockdown is lifted? Say you can travel back to India.
I have not thought about it yet, actually. I genuinely haven't. Um, I'm quite happy with not knowing what's happening tomorrow. Actually, I'm happier that way.